Welcome to Can I Query Half a Record? Hey, I'm Eric, and if you come from the world of SQL, you know that whenever you do a select statement of any kind, you kind of decide what fields you want. But that has never been the world of Business Central, or the world of Nav, or the world of Navision, whatever. Whenever we get a record from the database, we get every single field. And up until recently, that has not really been a problem because we get the record and performance is good and everybody's happy. But with the inclusion of table extensions where data is stored in multiple tables, so if you have the sales header and there is 2, 3, 4, 5 different extensions that are all adding fields to the sales header, then you got the original sales header table from the base application, and then you have 4 or 5 other tables and everything is joined together. And most likely, so if you just have a single table extension, most likely it's better to say in most cases we might not even need the fields from the other table. So depending on what fields are actually needed in a given situation, it would be cool if Business Central could somehow optimize that. And that's not where we are right now, but we are getting closer. And one of the things we can do is that we can actually now tell the system what fields to load. Let me show you. So I actually did this just to begin with. So I have created a record in the calendar entry because if I go in and check the table information, if you ever inside Business Central has looked at table information, you can see how much data you have in the database. And I just grabbed not the data sensitivity table because that's weird, but the calendar entry is the table with most records in Cronus. So that's what we play with today. We could also play with GL entry. That's perhaps an even better idea. Maybe we should do that instead. Let's play with GL entry. GL entry record GL entry. There we go. So let's consider something like this, that we do we do if GL entry find set, then begin, or not begin, then perhaps just repeat until GL entry finds set. And maybe we do something here. Maybe we do some stuff that cannot be done with a filter. Let's say that if GL entry, I don't want to get the last error. If GL entry dot, let's do something here. What can we play with? Doesn't really matter. If credit amount divided by something, and let's do so we are doing something that we cannot. It doesn't matter. Let's say I'm trying to come up with something that you cannot just write a filter for, but we could write a filter for if credit amount is equal 35, but pretend that if statement is something that is not, you cannot express in a filter. Then we do something, we increment a counter. How about that? Counter plus equal 1. Okay, so if we look at this statement, how many fields do we actually need in this case? Well, we probably still need the primary key, so we always get the primary key. But the only other field that we actually need in this case, it's credit amount. So everything else in the database doesn't matter. Everything else, including fields added by other extensions on, we don't care about this. So we have a way now to tell the platform, tell the AL engine, the service tier, that, hey, just give me what I need. And that was the command I actually already wrote on the screen before. So I can go GL entry, set load fields, and I add credited amount. So what's happening now is that whenever, go away tooltip. For every record we get here, we actually do not get the entire record. So all those other fields that's on the screen now, they're blank. So we get this one, meaning that in case of lots of extension, in case of tables with a lot of fields, this is as fast as it can be. But what about if, let's do something else here. So instead of this, so what about if for some reason credit amount is that now a special case. So now we do something about message, and we grab GL entry dot debit amount. Okay, so debit amount is not part of the set of fields that we have designed here. So what will happen now in this case? Well, what will happen is that your code will run. So if you're running this and saying, well, it's working. So hang on, what's happening? Well, this guy is actually triggering something that Microsoft called the just-in-time load. Just-in-time get, meaning that we get to a point in the code and the AL engine can see, the platform can see that, now he's requesting a field that is not up here. Okay, so now we'll go back out to the database and get this entire record. And of course, if this is something that happens often, you should never design for the just-in-time load of anything. You should, of course, then add that field up here. You cannot do something. Why is the tooltip now decided that the stuff that's more important than my variable? That's kind of annoying. Okay. If you do this, then so if you do a second set load fields, then you're actually replacing this one and changing the field set. So that doesn't work. So in general, set load fields should only be used outside the loop. You can do, if we need it here to set filters, you can do all that, but you need to set the load field before you call the find function. And another case that will trigger that will trigger the just-in-time load is that if we don't want to delete GL entries, but we'll write the code to do it anyway. So now I'm doing a delete, and the delete will also force a JIT load again. So depending on what you do, if you have a tight loop and then at some point you need to delete, that will trigger that. So if you're almost deleting everything, then the setload field does perhaps not have the appropriate effect on what you're doing. And why is that? Well, if we have the reason for this is one of the reasons, I guess there may be more. The reason is that, let's say we have another extension with fields, so we cannot delete the main table record and then just leave the orphaned extension table record. So of course we need to initiate that we get everything and make sure that there's not a blocking or whatever is going on. So that will trigger a git load again. Okay, so let's talk about when you should do this, and if you are, if you're working on your own tables, if within your own you're working on a custom table and your own code, well, you can always say, okay, right now I'm creating some type of tight loop. So that might make sense. It might not make sense. The danger is that if you go back to this guy and just do the counter again here, and what happens in the repeat is not only 3 lines, but it's hundreds of lines, and then at some point you or somebody else comes in and says, oh, we need to do something else, and does something with a new field without realizing that, hey, this loop is under setloadfields control. Then you can actually, just by adding something with another field, you can really mess up performance. So because then for each record it will be retrieved from the database first under the setloadfields level, and then something else happens, so it will get the rest of the record. And it's always the just-in-time piece is always getting the entire rest of the record. So it's not like, oh, you're just asking for one more field and we're getting that field also. You're getting the rest of the record. So I use this specifically on places I know that there are a high probability of, like, let's say I'm doing something on sales orders. I'm doing something on sales orders at a client who has, I got one client that I think they have 400,000 open sales orders in the system. They're doing a lot of volume, and those 400,000, if I'm going to loop those, that will take a while. And because they're running e-commerce and they're running all sort of stuff and have their own custom fields, there are 3 or 4 extensions that are extending the sales header. So to avoid spending a lot of time on getting stuff from the database I don't need, I'm always setload fielding. If I need to do an operation where I suddenly have to run through everything to check which one are ready for something or which one does need to wait, and whatever the case is. I am less concerned about this on tables that I control, on tables that I know that are few fields in, on tables that I know that there's probably not other extensions extended in, typically my own fields or my own tables, but also sometimes other fields from standard BC, other tables from standard BC that just there's less high, the probability of somebody extending this is low. And right now I cannot make a great example. VAT entries, for instance, that's not that popular. So stuff like that. Anyway, I would love to hear from you guys if you're actually using this. So this is not a new thing. We have had setloadfields for at least half a year. I can't even remember when we got it. And it's been on my to-do list for a while to tell you guys about it. Are you using it? And if you're using it, let me know in the comments what kind of usage you're doing. Are you not using it? Let me know why. because I would actually love to hear the reasons not to use it. And of course, one of those might be, hey, I didn't really know about it, but you do now because you are a subscriber to this YouTube channel, and I thank you for that. If you're not a subscriber, how about becoming a subscriber? We got half records and rainbows and unicorns and all sorts of things here. So let me know. And if you're ready for more AL, I can recommend this video. Go check it out. It's a good one. See you there. Bye.